Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some live commentary over some Oddball. I'm hoping that people won't quit here. I just got Pitfall on Oddball and every single person quit in the pre-game lobby. Like, people are so lame nowadays. Like, if they say high KDs, they will back out. And, I don't know, to me it's pretty frustrating how, like, unlenient they are. And I love playing some Pitfall. I really like to practice it, so I was kind of frustrated. But I do not want to play Solid Sticky Ball. Let's go into Oddball first impressions right off the bat and say that Sticky Ball is one of the worst additions to this playlist of all time. Oddball is such a great game type. I actually really enjoy it. I love the fact that it's 5v5. I like some variety in the play numbers. You don't just want to play 4v4 all day. So 5v5 mixes things up. I mean, obviously you have CTF, but CTF is very vehicle based nowadays, especially with the additions of Ragnarok and stuff like that. But first of all, I want to use this live commentary as a opportunity to shout out a podcast I recently appeared on that's going to be featured on Carl's Commentaries channel. It's called the Full Assault Podcast. It features a great group of guys, including myself, Genesis Rider, Delementary, Carl, and Lurker Zero. There's also going to be recycled guests like Rapscallion is going to get subbed in, Cray Spartan, and maybe Clean Up later down the line. If you remember, the podcast used to be on the Project Onyx channel, but unfortunately Project Onyx was foreclosed and is no longer, which makes me a bit sad-faced. But yeah, the links will be in the description to that. You can either download the SoundCloud and listen to it whilst at work, or listen to it on the go, whatever you feel like, or you can watch the YouTube video on Carl's channel itself. And if you haven't subbed to Carl's channel already, I don't know why you haven't. He's a great guy, fantastic YouTuber with really high production values. As you can see, my shot is terrible, but I still managed to pull off the triple because these guys are not very good. I try and run in for the clutch overkill, but of course, it's not going to happen. But yeah, basically I feel like the chemistry between this podcast is really, really great. It used to go on Onyx's channel, but Cleanup just couldn't keep up with Onyx any longer. But I still really wanted to keep the podcast going, and I think we all did to some degree, because there was definitely something special about it, and I love the group we had. You can just be natural and be yourself in it, and, you know, talk about Halo in the way that you want to. I also think we have a lot of variety within the members, because, like, you know, there's some people who cover competitive in depth, and then there's some people who are more on the casual side, and then there's people who are in between. I'd probably call myself someone who's in between. I can enjoy a little bit of competitive here and there, but I'm mostly, you know, I prefer just like the overall matchmaking experience. Mostly 4v4s, to be honest. Team Slayer, stuff like that. But yeah, Oddball in general, as a playlist that receives a lot of mixed feedback, I personally think the worst part about Oddball is that playing the objective is a very static role in the gameplay. It's a very boring one, if I can be quite candid. It's not something I enjoy doing, but at the same time, I kind of like to perform the Slayer role. I'm too ADHD. Like, if I did the Oddball role, I'd probably get bored. But you want to know a fun fact about me? Like, the actual way I got a 45 in Lone Wolves. Lone Wolves was probably the hardest playlist in Halo 3 to get a high CSR in. I got a 45 by just playing the objective hard. Like, okay, if you want to get a high CSR in Lone Wolves, vote for an objective playlist and just play the objective the entire time. Vote for King of the Hill and whore that hill. Vote for Oddball and just run away from everyone with that ball, because, to be quite honest, the shot levels on Lone Wolves, like, people's shot are just so on point, to the point that if you miss a shot, you're done for. If you make a single mistake in positioning, you're done for. So you can't afford to make mistakes, and I am definitely someone who makes a lot of mistakes, so I was not able to get one, like, really legit. All I do is I just, like, kite my enemies and play super defensive with the ball, and it's a really great way of doing it. I had a lot of fun, but I had some of the most, like, tense moments of my life where, like, I'd take the Oddball from the first place guy right in the last 30 seconds and then get it back, and it was really, really great. You know, getting a Brigadier in Halo 3 was definitely one of my highlights of my Halo career. I remember coming into the lobby and my friends just, like, not believing it at all, because I'd only turned Major quite recently. Not Major, Colonel, sorry. And I was, like, determined to be the highest rank in our group. I think, like, a lot of what can make you a great gamer as a kid is the people you come into contact with in your early days on Xbox Live. You know, if there's someone you don't like, but who's just that little bit better than you, it urges you to become more competitive, to pull something out of you that you didn't know you initially had. If you play with this carefree, casual group of friends from a young age, you might not necessarily have the motivation and the incentive to improve, but if you play with this friend who's really competitive, who's that little bit better than you, might push you to your limits, and you might find out that there was like more inside of you than you didn't initially know. Which is why I want to kind of touch on the basis of like villains in competitive gaming. It's kind of been something that's really intrigued me as of recently, and it's something I've changed my mind on. You know, when I initially started gaming, the idea of someone smack talking and being an overall unlikable character in gaming in competitive matches was something that absolutely repulsed me in pretty much any form. The idea of someone, you know, cursing completely, just being disrespectful in any way whatsoever. Something that completely turned me off competitive gaming, and like, it's honestly one of the reasons I didn't pursue it in any way. You know, a lot of people used to say, you know, you're improving pretty rapidly, you seem to really enjoy being good at games, I don't understand why you're so anti-competitive gaming, and it's just because that attitude kind of scared me off a little bit. And really what's come into my mind as of recently is just the fact that you should use that as a fuel to fire your competitive spirit. You should use an enemy, a person you don't like, as a basis for wanting to improve. It's like, you know, this guy should not be in the position he is. I disagree with his sentiments, I disagree with who he is as a person, and you know what, I reckon I can one-up him. And ever since getting into the Smash Bros competitive scene, there's a player by the name of Leffen, who he basically like does this thing in Smash Bros. When you get a kill, you can press a button to do a taunt, and he'll taunt after every kill. He'll get the most disrespectful kills, and he'll do like post interviews and pre-interviews where he just says, you know, like, this guy sucks. Like, why am I even wasting my time on this worthless piece of junk? And I think a couple of years ago, I would have hated that type of person. And to some extent, you know, I don't exactly love him. But at the same time, I see how beneficial he is for the scene, because everyone else around him ups his game. Everyone's trying to work out new tactics and new strategies because they don't want to lose to this guy. It fuels their spirit, and it makes the whole game much more of a spectacle and something to appreciate on a higher level. And I really, really love that. The gameplay itself was incredibly simple, so I apologize for that. And I'm on this weird planet loading screen right now, so I can't back out and check my score, which is fantastic. But I'm going to back out now. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the gameplay. I somehow managed to pull off a 17-2, even though completely autopiloting that gameplay. But like I said, go on to the Full Assault podcast on Carl's Commentaries channel. It's a really, really enjoyable experience, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it, and I hope you guys keep up with it, because we plan to do a lot more in the future. Anywho, I have been Modest Major. Thank you for watching. Peace out.